Boxing Truth here. Wanted to talk a little bit about this Saturday's fight between Leo Santa Cruz and Carl Frampton, as Santa Cruz is looking to make the second defense of his WBA featherweight strap, as he would put the title on the line against Carl Frampton, who's moving up in weight in the featherweight division to take on the challenge of Leo Santa Cruz in hopes of becoming a two-division champion. Carl Frampton's coming off the win over Scott Quigg, a controversial fight where he unified the titles in the super bantamweight division that he's now vacated, obviously, because of moving up in weight to challenge Santa Cruz. Now, Frampton, in my opinion, shouldn't even be in the spot because I don't believe he won his last fight. Recently watched the fight with Quigg again. Yeah, crazy enough, because the first 7 rounds of that fight were dreadful to watch. But Frampton was awarded the decision. I think he got a little too much credit for not really doing much in the fight. He didn't really land many significant blows. And after watching the fight recently again, I came out with the exact same score that I got the first time I watched it. And I did a post-fight vid on that fight, which was a while ago, earlier this year. And I had Quigg winning the fight by a point. It was a close fight. You could have argued that it was a draw, but really, Quigg was the one that landed any significant hard punches in the fight. Frampton just wasn't very accurate in that fight. He threw a lot. He was active. He threw a lot of punches. He was more busier than Quigg in the beginning of the fight, but he wasn't landing many punches. He did land some shots where he was able to break Quigg's jaw, and I give Quigg a lot of credit. He got his jaw broken in the 4th round. And the way he performed the last 5 rounds of that fight, which in my opinion wanted him to fight, it's got to give him credit for the way he performed the last 5 rounds of that fight. He was more aggressive. He started really putting the pressure on Frampton. Frampton was getting gassed, was getting tired, was holding on. And Quigg was just a stronger man down the stretch, even though he had a broken jaw. Just shows you the difference between when a world-class fighter gets his jaw broken and how he performs. And you compare it to a Jazza Dickens, who is a domestic British level fighter who gets his jaw broken and then automatically quits. Just shows you there's levels to this. But Frampton got the decision, controversially in my opinion, and now he's going to get this opportunity, a money fight, where he's going to challenge Leo Santa Cruz in what will be a very tough fight for Carl Frampton because of the size advantage of Leo Santa Cruz. He's going to have significant advantages in height and reach, but not only that, Frampton's going to be in there with a fighter in Santa Cruz who is in great condition. He's one of the most conditioned fighters in the game. He's a volume guy, throws a lot of punches, exciting fighter to watch, even though his career has stagnated ever since he left Golden Boy, as Heyman has been lining him up with a constant series of dubious opponents. But he finally got a big fight against Abner Mares, which was hotly anticipated, was long overdue, was a big build-up. They finally fought. Santa Cruz rightfully won that fight, rather one-sidedly in my opinion. He was able to use his distance. Mares tried to be aggressive. Santa Cruz was able to use his length, his lankiness, and step back and pop Mares when Mares would try to come in, as Mares had trouble closing the distance because of Santa Cruz's physical advantages in that fight. And this is the same thing with Carl Frampton. He's going to have to find a way to get inside, and it's been a little difficult for Frampton when it comes to these type of opponents, when he's fighting tall, lanky guys. As y'all remember, he got knocked down by a hand-picked opponent in Alejandro Gonzalez 2 fights before for Carl Frampton, which could have been a product of bad matchmaking. It was his first fight under the Heyman stable, and he was matched with a guy who was a lot taller than him, much more lankier than him. He ended up getting dropped because he got caught on trying to get inside on his opponent, Alejandro Gonzalez. But he was able to bounce back and win the decision. But he didn't look good in that fight. He didn't look good against Scott Quigg. And Frampton, if he wants to offset that activity, offset that volume that Leo Santa Cruz brings to the table, he can take a page out of Terrence Crawford's book. by, fighting like a bitch, running away, keeping away from a threat, and see if he can get any credit from the judges. But here's the problem. He's the B side in this equation, Carl Frampton. He's not the house fighter. Leo Santa Cruz is the A side in this equation. He is the fighter that in the Heyman stable that's considered one of Heyman's favorites. He is higher on the ladder when it comes to value to Al Heyman. So Al Heyman wants Santa Cruz to win. He's been with Heyman much longer. He's fighting out of America. He's a featherweight champion. And he's the A side in this bout. So Frampton could use that strategy as maybe use his legs, try to keep away, try to bring down the punch count of Leo Santa Cruz, try to make Santa Cruz not get set, try to make him follow around the ring in order to maybe cut down his volume of punches. But Frampton's got to land some punches in this fight. He's going to get any credit from the judge. He's got to land some shots. He's got to land combinations. He just can't run away like a bitch and play tag with his opponent. He's got to fight. He's got to do something to get credit from the judges. And Santa Cruz, he's going to bring it. He's not going to be scared like Quigg. The moment's not going to be too big for him like it was for Quigg in the first 7 rounds of that fight but with Frampton. Santa Cruz is going to come forward. He's going to throw a lot of punches. He's going to make Frampton even come to him. He'll step back, use distance, pop Frampton if Frampton tries to get aggressive. This is just a difference between the size, the physical advantages Santa Cruz brings. He's just too busy. He's in too much better condition than Carl Frampton. Maybe Frampton struggled to make weight, but he doesn't have the type of body structure for a featherweight. He's just too small for this division. He's going to be fighting a lot of tall, lanky guys with reach advantages, and he hasn't shown to be able to deal with those type of opponents. So Santa Cruz, I see him outworking Frampton, breaking him down, constantly throwing combinations up to 80 to 100 punches a round. That's what the type of activity Santa Cruz likes to bring to the ring. He's an exciting fighter when he can be, especially when he's matched right against solid opposition, not the type of opponents he's been fighting lately. Outside of Mara's, it's been an easy ride for Santa Cruz. A lot of layups. He fought a super bantamweight his last fight, and Kiko Martinez, up there in age. He knocked him out in 5. Hand-picked opponents. The trash opponent he fought on the Mayweather-Pacquiao undercard. Probably nobody remembers it. And now he's fighting another super bantamweight, moving up in weight, but a name fighter who is undefeated and who has won world titles. So this is a good fight for Santa Cruz, a guy who's not that big of a puncher. Frampton's a solid boxer, but he throws good. He's got a good technique. He's got a good left hook to the body, but he's not the most powerful guy, not the fastest guy, not the most athletic guy. And he didn't really use his legs too much against Scott Quigg, and he's coming off 2 pedestrian type of performances. Didn't really look good in these fights. Maybe the weight had an issue. Maybe he'll be stronger in the featherweight division. But my official prediction for the UK viewers watching, your boy Carl Frampton is going to get trashed by Leo Santa Cruz, as the conditioning, the volume of Leo Santa Cruz, his physical advantage he brings to the fight, him being the A side, Frampton being on the road, fighting in America. I got Santa Cruz winning by a clear cut, unanimous decision. Maybe he can get a stoppage, but Frampton seems like a durable guy. Took some big shots from Scott Quigg. He got hurt momentarily in that fight. But I got Santa Cruz outworking, outlanding, outpunching. Just too much activity, too much conditioning, which is much superior compared to Carl Frampton. And Santa Cruz will be successful in defending his featherweight title, getting another name on his resume as he continues his journey, whatever that is. Hopefully he becomes more active, maybe gets bigger fights, maybe unification in the future. But the fight I would love to see for Santa Cruz is not even in the Heyman stable. Not a Gary Russell, Lee Selby. Those fights don't really interest me that much. I would watch Gary Russell for sure, but the fight that really interests me with Santa Cruz is a fight with either Lomachenko or maybe Oscar Valdez for some time in the near future or next year. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.